Gangsta no live in a tenement yard. No. Good boy no live in a tenement yard. Too much watch it. Too much so. Them chatty.
What's up, family? It's your boy, the Urban Sports Guru. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'm in the building, and we getting right to the NBA playoffs because you know the NBA playoffs is popping every single motherfucking night. Every single night is getting exciting, and we got an exciting playoffs this year. Before I even get to the games, this year the playoffs are exciting. We got great matchups in the first round. Great matchups. It's not like last year when we all knew Golden State was going to mold through the West because of the way things set up. The only team that was going to be able to compete was San Antonio, but then Kawhi ended up getting hurt. Last year, nobody's talking about Cleveland just completely molded through the East. Nobody's talking about that. The playoffs were just so anticlimactic last year. This year we have such great matchups. All the matchups are great for some reason. Only real ass whooping we're seeing is Golden State with the Spurs because the Spurs don't have Kawhi. But we're seeing some great matchups. We're going to start today with the Eastern Conference. Last night, number 1 seed Toronto Raptors in Game 3 played the Wizards. Wizards finally got the obligatory, home game. You know what I'm saying? John Wall and Bradley Beal dropped 28 apiece, so Bradley Beal made up for him stinking up the joint in Game 2. I told you this last week before anybody. If they get smoked in 5 games or 6 games, John Wall is trade bait. I told y'all this last week before anybody else. John Wall going to end up being trade bait. They get smoked. If they do not at least push this to 7 games, John Wall is out of there. And I say John Wall other than Bradley Beal because John Wall's a better player. They can get more for him. But furthermore, John Wall is the one that team is having issues with. They're not having issues with Bradley Beal. They're having issues with John Wall. Even though he's better, he's the one that team has having issues with. He's the one that Martin Gortat is calling out, then arguing with on the bench. He's not arguing with Bradley Beal. He's arguing with John Wall. Now, I love me some John Wall. Let me make that emphatically clear. Crystal clear. And I think for a team that wants to try to win a championship, John Wall is a great sidekick. A great sidekick. One of the best pass first point guards in the game we have today. Probably the best. I would love him on my team. Let's make that emphatically clear. But they have to take this 7 games. Because if they take this 7 games, then you can put it reasonably in your head that this team, because they're playing the number 1 seed Raptors, they take them to 7 games. Raptors, say, hypothetically speaking, eventually go to the finals. Damn, we're 1 game away from possibly being in the finals because we're 1 game away from beating the team that went to the finals. It just happened to be in the first round, but then you can make the argument to keep this team together and possibly just add on to it with, say, Boogie Cousins, who's friends with John Wall. But if this does not happen, they don't push him to 7, John Wall's out of there. Out of there. So you got your obligatory home game. Let's see if you can continue to push it further. Raptors, they've had their issues in the playoffs. Let's see how they respond to finally losing. Let's see what happens. I don't have a lot of faith in the Wizards. I just don't have faith in them. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They're not all of the sum of their parts. They're not. I don't have a lot of faith in them, even though I don't have a lot of faith in the Raptors as well. I'm not drinking that motherfucking Kool-Aid. No, I am not. I'm not drinking that motherfucking Kool-Aid, but I still think Toronto in 5 games. I think they're going to win Game 4, wrap it up in 5 games. Probably a great Game 5, but still 5 games. Move forward. Now, one series I've really been paying attention to is Boston versus Milwaukee. Not the prettiest basketball to see, but paying attention to it. Why? Because the 3 players. First, the 2 studs we got in Boston, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. them young brothers has come to play. Them young brothers are saying, fuck a year or two from now. We ready now. And I respect the hell out of that shit. Game 1, Game 2, like, these brothers put on. They putting on for B-Town, and I respect that. Giannis is the other reason I've been watching. Giannis has been putting up his points and all that, but where's his help? This is a perfect example of where's his help. Nobody else is making shots. And this is a team in Milwaukee that can't make outside shots. But then they get home last night and they get some home cooking. Out of nowhere. Completely out of nowhere. We have a Thon Maker sighting. Where the fuck he come from? Out of nowhere, you know, Eric Bledsoe shows up. You've been getting your ass bust these first 2 games. He finally shows up. God bless you for finally responding, because Terry Rozier been busting your ass. What else? Fucking as a team, Milwaukee made 16 3-pointers. I'm gonna say that again for a fact for people who didn't hear me. They made 16 3-pointers. Now, Giannis definitely needs some help. Do I think they're going to be able to replicate that? No. I don't think they're going to replicate that. I don't think they'll be able to replicate that. I just don't. I still have hope for them for winning this series. Hope. Hope. That's the key word. Hope. I'm going to be honest with you, I just don't know what happened. I guess right now, even though they were my original pick, I'm going to stay with them. I'm not going to flip-flop, but I don't... Not really that confident because the team really can't shoot. They're not going to duplicate that effort in Game 4. Probably not in any other game. They're not going to duplicate that. But they're not so much about duplicating the effort as far as 3-pointers, as far as guys being able to come in and help. You know, Jabari Parker had a great game. I like Jabari Parker. He's going to be a free agent probably in all season. And if the Knicks draft a point guard to go with Porzingis, the small forward will be open. Hey, I'm all for the Knicks snatching him up. My only concern about, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Duke fan, I'm saying it because I think he definitely feels a need. My only concern with Jabari Parker are his knees. That's it. It's not his game. His game is there. Last year he was averaging 20 points a game. He's finally completely recovered from his first knee injury. So I understand the coaches being a little funny about him because now this is his second knee injury, and he's just not coming back. And he's looking decent, but you don't know. Last night he looked good though. He looked good. Scored about 17 points. He looked good. Thon Maker showed up, like I said previously, and I'm not a huge Thon Maker guy, but he showed up last night, and yeah, I see what happens. Now the Sixers and the Heat. I picked the Sixers in this. I want to see how the Heat respond in Game 4. Their Sixers are up 2-1. Game 4, I believe, is today. And I'm really interested because, I'm going to be honest, Joel Embiid, as much as I hate the process, and I've been delaying doing a video about the process. I really have, but I truly hate the process. I have to be honest. Joel Embiid is becoming one of my favorite players in this league. He is. He's becoming one of my favorite players. Like, this motherfucker trolls people. He talks shit. He brings everything to the court. Backs it all up. Doesn't take no shit from nobody. I'm really, really starting to love this kid. Like, this dude, I like him. I like him a lot. A lot. And the shit that's killing me in this series, why aren't they playing Hassan Whiteside more? Now, people are making the argument, okay, you could have played him in Game 3 because Embiid played. I say, why aren't you playing them regardless who it is? And I say that for this reason. We all know what he's able to bring defensively, controlling the paint. The problem why so many teams, Golden State and many, many others, are able to get away with playing this kind of version of small ball is because of the fact of when you don't have a big man who is capable scorer. Now, Hassan Whiteside he is not what you would call a dominant scorer. Hell no. He is not that. But I think he's good enough. If you put a 6'7" guy on him, he can get you 20 points. He can get you 20 points. You play some 6'7" guy on him. He can do that. It won't look pretty, but he'll do that. This is how you counter that. This is why, as much as I love the Golden State Warriors, I will never ever listen to a debate about whether they could beat the Lakers with Shaquille O'Neal. I will never ever even listen to that debate of how many threes they make. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, you'll be giving up layups and dunks every single possession because you have absolutely no idea what to do with Shaquille O'Neal. Listen, the game of basketball has changed. I get it. It has changed because big men aren't being taught to be big men. I just said it in the previous show, how men aren't being taught to be men. We have these little faggot-ass men out here, these feminine men getting bitched and all of that, and I don't understand it. When I look at big men in the NBA, a lot of big men are trying to play like little guys instead of being big men. This is why you're able to get away with playing someone who's 7'2". You can guard him with a 6'6" guy. You can get away with that shit. But in previous generations, you could never do that. You could never play against the Knicks and guard Patrick Ewing with a 6'6" guy. You could never do that. It could never happen. You can't guard Shaquille O'Neal with a 6'6" guy. You can't do that to Alonzo Mourning. You can't do that to Shaquille. You couldn't do that to David Robinson. It could never happen. Now, he's never going to be those guys offensively. But he's good enough where you can't guard him with some 6'7", 6'8" guy. You can't do that. You put him on, he can get you 20. Especially since you trying to play that slow down, rough, rugged type of basketball. You can do that. The first time I seen this change was when Philadelphia, the year after they went to the finals, they played Boston. I believe it was in the first round. And what Boston did, they had a power forward by the name of Rodney Rogers out of Wake Forest. Now remember, they kept going pick and pop. They put him at the center spot against Dikembe Mutombo, who was a decent offensive center, but we all know how great he was defensively. And what they did is they kept going pick and pop, pick and pop. And Rodney Rogers will pop out to the three-point line. Deke's not coming out there, and he had wide open threes all day. That was the first time I seen a team completely counter a dominant defensive presence with a shooter on the outside, and did it consistently. Then we've seen it move forward, how Utah in their series against Houston with Yao Ming, they had a center by the name of Mehmet Okur, and they would go pick and pop. Yao Ming didn't have the feet to be standing out there. He's 7'5". So they would counter the fact that they had nothing for Yao Ming on the outside. They would counter that by going pick and pop with Mehmet Okur. And he was just draining threes. The problem was in both of those situations, they weren't giving their big guy a chance to counter that. They wasn't giving that. Yao Ming wasn't consistently getting the ball enough during that time. Much as I love Tracy McGrady, that needed to be a Yao Ming show. That needed to be a Yao Ming show. Yao Ming should be getting the ball back. Because guess what? You'll make 50% of your threes. Yao Ming is going to make 100% of his layups. At least 90. At least 90. You know, Deke could have got 25 against Rodney. Rodney Rogers was 6'7". Deke was 7'2". And he was still an all-star, for crying out loud. Yes, he was a little bit slower, but I mean, why? And this is Pat Riley we're talking about. This is a very smart guy. All these different situations I'm naming, and players I'm naming, Pat Riley knows all of this. I mean, he runs things in Miami. He knows about that. And just bugging me out how Hassan Whiteside isn't playing more. He should be playing more definitely against Joel Embiid. These two guys don't like each other. And Embiid, I did a shit can't happen with Embiid dunking on, with Whiteside dunking on him. He'll never be as good as Embiid, but let them two go at it. Let them two go at it. He can at least slow Embiid down a little bit. Probably the only center in the league, him and Gobert. Probably the only centers in the league that could do that to him. And let him slow him down a little bit. So this way you can focus more on Ben Simmons. I assume that that'll be the adjustment they'll make in Game 4. But even when Embiid isn't out there, especially when Embiid's not out there, let Whiteside touch the ball. Let him touch the ball. You're going to have some 6'8" guy guarding him. Let him touch the ball. He probably ain't going to do shit against Embiid because Embiid's a great defensive player. Great. Not good, not average. Great defensive player. Not as good as Whiteside, but great defensive player. But he can do something against a 6'8" guy. He can get fouled. So even if he's looking like shit at the free throw line, those team fouls catch up. Before you know it, they're in the penalty, and everything is free throws. This is how teams benefited when they played with Shaquille O'Neal. So even if he was stinking it up from the free throw line, anytime you breathe on Kobe after a while, beep, free throw line. Kobe had plenty of free nights like that where he ate up at the free throw line because Shaq already got the team in the penalty. It's very simple. This is very simple basketball, man. But Sixers, I think the Sixers. I'm going to give Miami one more game in this series. I'm going to give them that much respect. But it's not going no further than 6 games. No further than that. Then we got the Cavs. Cavs lost last night, and to my surprise, I say to my surprise, and LeBron is doing his little sucker shit, throwing his teammates on that bus. You know what I'm saying? Other guys need to step up. You know what I'm saying? This is a little sucker shit LeBron James does where he stuffs the stat sheet with a lot of false numbers, and then he kind of stands there with plausible deniability. Well, I did this. As you see this video we're playing right here.
What time?
I don't know. People observe that to me when, that's the question I've been answering on radio shows.
I'm having a triple-double in the finals, so I'm pretty good.
Well, as you see him averaging a triple-double, as you heard him say, that's his little subtle way is like, okay, I did this. It's not on me. It's on them. And you wonder why Kyrie wanted to get the fuck out of there. He was tired of this little sucker shit. This is the little punk shit he does, and I don't respect that. This is a little, like we call him passive-aggressive. That's it. That's it. That's the little passive-aggressive shit he does. And I don't respect that. I mean, what I will say about this series is showing me once again, one of the critiques about the Cleveland Cavaliers early in the year, we looked at this team, they weren't playing no defense, etc. Team that wasn't interested in all of that. Then they shipped all these guys out and brought all of these young athletic guys in. And now you're saying the same thing about these guys. And I think what is becoming very, very obvious is this is the effect LeBron James is having on teams, especially in his contract year. We saw this play out his first time in Cleveland. We saw this play out in Miami. And we've seen this play out now with 2 different sets of teams here in Cleveland again just this 1 year. You brought all these guys in because all these guys are going to play defense, and now this team right here is not consistently playing defense. Yeah, they only gave up, 90, 92 points last night, but consistently, the team's not playing any defense. Bogdanovic scored 30 points last night, 7 of 9 from 3. And you got all these wing defenders, and Bogdanovic is killing y'all like this? I mean, I think we're seeing the effect. Teams, motherfuckers getting tired of the constant narrative of where you going next year. LeBron doesn't have enough. That's a slight to them. And you expect motherfuckers to still ride out with you? In my opinion, that's why Kyrie wanted out. Kyrie said, no, I'm not going to put up with this shit for a whole year. LeBron on his where am I going next year tour, and he never shuts down any of this talk. Nah. I think that was one of the main reasons why Kyrie said, "Nah, get me the fuck out of here." As we go to the Western Conference, we have the Rockets up 2-0. I believe they play Game 3 today, and I'm not surprised that they up 2-0, but I've said it for months now that the Timberwolves are a super team in the making, and what you need is one superstar player. And I think they had that with Karl Anthony Towns. See, stars are made, superstars are made in the playoffs. And Karl Anthony Towns right now is completely disappointing me. Because he's going against a team that he at the very least can get his shine off against. You're not going against Utah. Because you got to go against Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders in the league. No. You're not going against guys like that. You're going against a guy, Clint Capella, who's good, but you can get your shit off against Clint Capella. Clint Capella and Nene Hilario should not be holding you down like this. You had, 5 points in Game 2? 5 fucking points in Game 2? Only 5 points? My nigga. He's disappointed me. And I expect him to bounce back in Game 3. What I thought would make this a series is seeing how their length could bother James Harden, which they did in Game 2. He was only, 2 for 18. But the offense isn't there. Offensively, it's just not there. It's just not there, and it's largely because of Karl Anthony Towns. He's their best player. Now, I know Jimmy Butler's probably in his ear about that. Jimmy Butler, he got that dog in him. I know Jimmy Butler got that dog in him. But Jimmy Butler's not a superstar. He's a star, but he's not a superstar. So I expect better things from Karl Anthony Towns today in Game 3. I still think they're going to lose the series, though. The question is, are they going to lose in 5 or 6, though? That's the only question. Warriors is up 3-0, as expected, and I expect them to sweep. Steph Curry's back to practicing. Now, the real concern with me now, Kevin Durant had a little ankle twist, and Livingston twisted his ankle. They have such a constant revolving door of injuries. I don't know if this team will ever be 100% this playoff run. I have strong doubts about Steph Curry, even though he's practicing now, what he's going to be able to bring once he does come back, and how fragile he's going to be once he does come back. And I don't know, I'm starting to have my doubts about how far they can go. I'm not gonna jump off ship saying the Warriors aren't gonna win a chip, but I'm starting to have my doubts. But this is kind of the shit I pointed to earlier in the year. Now they have a real gauntlet to come through in the Western Conference. They're not experiencing it now because they're playing the Spurs. And by the way, thoughts and prayers with Greg Popovich and his family, losing his wife. God rest his soul, God bless you, Ms. Popovich. It's just that I've constantly said the West is loaded. And I said they have a real gauntlet to go through. And I said flat out, if they were to get any injuries, that could completely change the game. Guess what? They got those injuries. Now, supposedly, everyone will be back. That is a key supposedly, but we got to still see that happen. So that just puts a question mark on this team. Now, before the playoffs started, the series I told y'all that I wanted to see the most was the Portland Trailblazers versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. My nephew Darrell, right here is my editor. And he just said something to describe what is happening in this series. For those of y'all that are subscribed to like World Star, hashtag World Star, and you constantly see like these stupid ass videos of a guy just walking and out of nowhere somebody just comes and just gives him the hurricane punch out of nowhere that he never seen coming. That's what the fuck is happening with this series. Nobody saw this shit coming. Nobody. This was the series I most wanted to see because I wanted to see Dame go crazy and AD go crazy and see them two just battling out and just crushing everybody in front of them. And I expected Dame to win because I thought he had more help. I said this last week. I expected Dame 7 games. He has home court advantage and more help. Even though I think AD's a better player. I think Rondo took that shit personally. The reason why I second guessed Rondo, I thought last year was his last hurrah of playoff Rondo. Hashtag playoff Rondo. I thought that was his last hurrah. I didn't know if he had another one in him. And clearly, we all miscalculated, we all misjudged. Playoff Rondo is still in full effect, and he's putting foot to ass. But the real light bulb has to be shined on Jrue Holiday. Damian Lillard, in 3 games, when guarded by Jrue Holiday, is 2 for 18. I'm going to say that again for a fact because I want you to hear me. Damian Lillard, when guarded by Jrue Holiday, is 2 for 18. Let alone the shit Holiday's bringing on the offensive end. And we look at the highlights of AD. Look at these highlights. Ladies and gentlemen, you look at the highlights we played. They're all dunks and alley-oops. All dunks and alley-oops. What does that tell you? That they're making the game easy for him. The game looks easy. He's not constantly having to go one-on-one, which he can because nobody can guard him. Inside, outside, running the floor. Nobody can guard him. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But the fact that he's getting all these alley-oops and getting these easy baskets is making it easy for him. The question is, are they going to sweep? I say yeah. I just don't think the Blazers got it in them. I don't think the Blazers got it. I think their heart's been taken from them as a team. I love Damian Lillard. I really do. I love and respect them, but they're going to get swept. The Pelicans got the right stuff right now. They got that Pyrex is cooking right now. I'm telling y'all. The Pelicans, I'm fucking with the Pelicans. I like them. And Steph don't come back. And these guys continue to play. Rondo and Holiday keep continuing to play like this. That next round against Golden State is a whole different ballgame. Like I said, there's a gauntlet to go through in the Western Conference. Golden State thought they were slick. Do that little bullshit, get their ass kicked against fucking Utah so you don't have to go against OKC and Houston. But guess what? You got to deal with a juggernaut, a building juggernaut in the Pelicans right now. And guess what? Unlike other teams who they have superstars or they got a star player, whatever the case may be, who's not in the conversation with Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis is. He belongs right there next to Kevin Durant. So we're talking something completely different now. Like I said, gauntlet. Hashtag gauntlet is what we have in the Western Conference. Now, last but not least, we have OKC 1-1 against Utah. Game 3, I believe, is today. It's this weekend, though. Now, the problem, I expected this to be a tough series, maybe OKC in 5, maybe 6 games. I expected them to pull it out because, like I always say, when it comes to playoff series, who's the best player? The best player in the series is Russell Westbrook. And right now, the second best player in this series is Donovan Mitchell. That's saying something, not just because he's a rookie. That's saying something because OKC has Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. That's where it's saying something. And also, even though they have Steven Adams, who's a good center, they have Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, I'll tell you, I've said this before, and I'll say this again. There'll never ever be a replacement for a big guy who can completely control the paint. And this is something that Rudy Gobert can do when he's on. He can completely control that paint on the defensive end. He can change the game for an offense. Now, in Game 2 in the fourth quarter, OKC's Big Three went 0 for 14. 0 for 14. Like, they have to get better shots. That shows to me how these guys have not accepted their roles. They've not accepted their roles. You got a bunch of guys who are used to being the guy in clutch moments, and they haven't accepted their roles. They haven't, like, okay, it's still too much infighting when it comes to those kind of moments. This is why that team is 0 for 14. And They have to get this together before they make this series even much harder than what it's going to be. But before we go into that, we're going to go into, now we're done with that, let's get into Shit Can't Happen.
Yeah. Shit can't happen. Shit can't happen.
Now this ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Shit can't happen to him and your ass. You can't be touched, don't think you can't. Cause niggas ain't fucking around no more, man. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Shit can't happen to him and your ass. You can't be touched, don't think you can't. Cause niggas ain't fucking around no more, man.
Now we got 2 Shit Can't Happens this week. I'm gonna hit 2 of them, both in the NBA playoffs. This is why I am loving Joel Embiid. Because if you get him or any player on this team, or him, he's going to get back at you. Now, what do I mean by this? As you can see here in Game 3, you got Justice Winslow, the Dookie, with the good block. They come right down. Joel Embiid says, all right, I got you. I see you. He comes in. Get that shit out of here. The fuck you thought this was, man? This is shit that I love about Joel Embiid. He takes shit like that personally and says, I'm gonna get right back at you. In this next one, Joel Embiid letting these motherfuckers know that shit can't happen. But in this next one, we have the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, Giannis here in Game 3. Now, we all know how long he is. He's, 6'11", he has a 7-foot wingspan. It seems like he can just jump from anywhere with that wingspan and just reach and dunk on anybody. Some motherfuckers are finding this shit out the hard way. Trevor Bayne, what the fuck were you thinking jumping with Giannis? This is what I'm talking about. That 7'6" wingspan, just reach. Look how far away he is. Look at that shit. You thought because he was far away that shit couldn't happen? Look at that. Bayne had to find out the hard way. You fuck with the Greek freak, shit can't happen. Now, as we end off this show, I just wanted to show this video of this goofy ass, whoever the fuck this rap ass nigga. I seen this video on Instagram this week, and the shit just made me laugh repeatedly. Shit makes me laugh every fucking time I watch it. I'm gonna play my own cut for y'all, so y'all can laugh too. And here we go right here.
If I jump somebody, my man gonna jump with me.
They gonna show up with their guns. Yes, sir. We ain't gonna do nothing but show up with our guns. That's right, brother.
You feel me? If I rob him, my man gonna rob him.
Then they gonna start shooting. Oh, then we gonna start shooting.
If I gotta die, my man dying with me. Like, that's just how it is. Like, my people is right for me, no matter what. And I know that for a fact.
It's respectable, man.
Ain't no goofy niggas around me. They're gonna die if I gotta die.
I wish somebody would die for me, man. Like,
I'm telling you, all of them. Every last one of them don't get shot. That's right.
They're gonna die if I gotta die.
I wish somebody would die for me.
But all of us is gonna get shot. All of us is gonna die together.
Now, I know y'all love that shit just as much as I did. Now, thank you for watching the show. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, your Open Sports Guru. I appreciate that. God bless you. I'm out.
It's influenced a lot of what we do. Like, our whole genre is